Welcome back to another book club. This is I Better Me, I Better You. We're continuing on our book of the month. Tomorrow, My Sunshine Will Come. When we last started, we were discussing Allison's story. I think we stopped on page, I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, let's start on page 77. And we're going to start with one, two, three, four. Chapter 4. But for the sake of love, Allison was open to trying the things that he had purchased. Although she found it beyond her comforts, she could see this infuriated him. Heartless and insensitive, Charles pushed. He was being very aggressive in the bedroom, and Allison wouldn't let her wouldn't let Charles touch her for days. He was being very forceful, very aggressive. Charles told Allison he was feeling the moment and got carried away. Remorseful, Charles told her that he would wait until she was ready again. Allison accepted his apology, but was leery. See, I'm starting to see his actions now. He's starting to manipulate her. If you go back into the text, and he's always apologizing. For a short time, Charles made no attempt, but Allison got surprised. He was slowly trying to get her to do things that she was not comfortable with in the bedroom. The trainers at the gym had picked up on Charles and Allison's change of demeanor. The staff kept asking how they had been doing, and Allison would suck it up and pretend that everything was great. She tried to convince them that Charles was an amazing guy who was so smart and was going places. Not only was Allison trying to convince the trainers, but herself as well. Up until now, um, the uh, uh, the passion in their relationship had slowed down. His friends outside the relationship grew as hers dwindled away. See, now he's starting to isolate her from her friends. She kept fighting the urge that had been growing more frequent to break up with him. But every time Allison tried, he did something nice and reconfirmed her faith in their destiny. Charles was a puppet master controlling the strings with his push you away and then pull you near behavior. All these are manipulation tactics. Eventually, Charles started suggesting Allison sleep in her own bed. He needed to focus on school and sleep. This wasn't every night, though. When they were together, Charles was not gentle or accommodating. He started doing more things to humiliate her in the bedroom. By now, Allison was mentally and sexually depleted. She had been dealing with Charles' degrading and controlling uh, weight. She had been carrying that weight for months, and she had had enough. The straw that broke the camel's back occurred during an intimate encounter when she noticed a small blister on his male genitalia. Concerned, Allison commented on it and asked him what it was about. Shrugging it off, he said he got a shaving bump. Allison was well aware that it was highly unlikely that a man would shave his penis, and suspiciously, she continued having sex with him anyway. Oh my God. Girl, what were you thinking? Charles took what he wanted and did so forcefully. So now he's pretty much forcing himself on her. This is crazy. Wow. Allison found herself getting these strange bumps on her earlobes and her buttocks area. She also had a searing pain when she went to urinate. Her tonsils swelled, making it difficult for her to breathe. Oh my God, what did he do to her? She waited several days trying to tough it out, but it felt like a horrible flu was coming on. Allison's nerves were so tender that it hurt to step down off of the bed. Wow. Allison's health was taking a turn for the worse. She was getting steroids for her throat, and she had a sexually transmitted disease test come back for herpes and HPV. Oh my God. This is so sad. Also, during this time, Allison noticed condoms missing from Charles's nightstand drawer. This wouldn't be a problem except for they didn't use protection. Her suspicions about Charles was beginning to unfold. She would never forget the call he received in the middle of the night. The woman was obviously drunk and very loud. Allison heard everything that she said. The woman wanted Charles to know that she was ready for him and commented that she knows it isn't the wrong night. Taken back, Allison had no choice and she confronted him. Of course, he denied everything. Wow. I can't even believe he did that to her. That's try. At that time, she needed a friend to lean on, and Charles had managed to isolate her from all her close women. Remember, I was telling you how they do. However, out of concern, the lady at the tanning salon pulled Allison aside and asked her, "Why do you put up with his ways?" Before Allison left the salon, the woman told her that she didn't have to be alone. This lady was kind enough to give Allison a phone number and encouraged her to call. One night, Allison decided to go out with some friends that she knew from work. This one guy in particular realized how depressed that she was. He had kept urging Allison to call and hang out with him earlier. Charles told her that he was going out to a local bar called the Blue Dolphin. And he told Allison, do not follow him there. Allison told him that it was fine because she was going out too. Charles did not like that at all. Excited, Allison and her friends headed to the casino. They convinced her to play Texas Hold'em tournament, and that's cards. She literally didn't know what it was or how to even play. Called it beginner's luck, but Allison did very well. And in several hands, she was able to get three out of a kind, three in the disguise of four houses and one full house of forwards. I don't know anything about this. I just know it's a card game. So all for all y'all that played Texas Hold'em, y'all know this. I don't. This might sound odd, but Allison has studied numerology, so that's why she was so good. Okay, because so she know how to count cards. And I've heard that expression before, counting cards. Okay. That night, Allison felt so free, and she had such a great time with her friends. She finally decided to plot her breakup. I think she's at the point where now, especially after he gave her all that stuff that he gave her, I know she's ready to head for the hills. Um, Allison walked in after Charles. Without hesitation, Charles got naked and hopped in bed. Instead of joining him, Allison grabbed a few things that she said that she had there and screamed, "We're done." Just like that, Allison finally broke it off. Allison had had enough, and after he gave her those STDs and he kept forcing himself, he was pretty much at that point raping her before he even gave her the STDs. Allison was fed up with the disrespect. She was sick and tired of Charles. Um, and she had finally come to the realization that he had isolated her from the majority of her friends. Now was the hard part, coping. Allison was literally addicted to Charles. In fact, Allison was addicted to feeling bad about herself. She did her best to put their relationship behind her, but there was always something that made it so difficult to do so. She struggled to get closure because of an incident where a group of guys came to her defense against Charles. And it wasn't provoked on Allison's part, but the guys thought that they were defending her honor. Also, Allison confided in a girl about the STD she had received. This girl spoke out about him and decided to make a case for NCIS, that's the Naval Criminal Investigation Services. She was certain the charges would stick considering she had testimonies from other women that he had infected. So not only had he given her an STD, he gave several others. This guy was something else. Oh my goodness. The woman wanted Allison's permission to charge him. Allison agreed, even though she secretly thought it was pointless. Allison had already reported it to the Navy, which keeps a list of people who give out sexually transmitted disease when they do it purposely. There's a difference when you don't know, but when you're doing it on purpose, that's the intention is cruel. The investigation agent frankly told Allison that they had never had a case of this type of maliciousness stick. Within the investigation, Charles stalked and harassed her. He would call Allison up drunk and try to bait her into coming to his room. If Charles saw Allison on the base dining facility, he would sit nearby her and grimace at her and trying to intimidate her. She admitted to sleeping up once and kissing him. Allison was having a tug of war with her heart and her mind. Eventually, Allison decided to drop the charges and have the case closed. Mentally and emotionally exhausted, she desperately wanted the case to be over. Although he was never put in jail, Allison took comfort in knowing as long as the Navy had his actions documented, that was good enough. Later on, Allison learned that Charles had gotten mixed up in some other things. He had got a girl that resembled Allison to co sign a huge white pickup truck. Charles broke up with that girl and stopped the payments but kept the truck. Allison also later saw him in Seattle in his working uniform. Every time she saw him, it haunted her. In time, Allison and Charles continued on with their lives. When she last saw him, he was overweight with his wife and child in tow. He seemed respectable enough. Taking the high road, Allison made no mention that she knew him and kept right on walking. I know I would too. After having left home to join the Navy, Allison finally had taken a chance on something, even when those who doubted her didn't think that she could handle it. Allison found personal success and happiness on the other end of strife. During her time in the military, Allison found her voice and learned to speak out. Not only that, she learned a lot about herself and she lived her life to the fullest while experiencing what she thought she could never do, which was love. She realized how important respect was in a relationship. She gained her independence and freedom while being in the military, and she appreciated the fact that she could earn money and didn't have to live at home. To be free of the burden and prevent the same pattern of lashing out on others is more important for each woman to understand this change. Allison learned it's more important than removing herself from the situation that she was in. The freedom that it brought Allison was even more powerful in many cases than the action that released her from the situation because of the change she experienced. She prevented a repeated and dysfunctional cycle and she escaped. And that is Allison's story. And in closing, she says Allison believes that a survivor is not the same thing as a victim. There is a distinct difference in that mentality. Don't be a victim, be a survivor, but the master and authority over yourself. And that was Allison's story. Her story was quite long. The next story is going to be shorter, and it is going to be Felicia's story. So we'll catch up and start a brand new story on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for participating. Allison's story was very, very interesting, but in the end, she survived it and she's able to share her testimony with others. Be encouraged. Please, there's still time. Stop by. Look down in the description section below. You can still purchase a book. Tomorrow, My Sunshine Will Come. This is where these amazing stories are coming from um, author Jennifer Foxworthy. Me and her were stationed together and served together in the military. She's a good, um, powerful, dynamic woman of God. And come check her out. Go check her out. And we'll see you again on Wednesday. Take care.